A common situation in our office is people come into the office after all of the money is gone. They've been paying for months or sometimes for years out of pocket. No one told them that they had an option. We've had clients that have told us they've been paying for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and the cost of care being 6, 7, 8,000 a month. You can do the math yourself. It adds up very quickly. So it's important to qualify for Medicaid as soon as possible to protect as much as possible. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. 3 big hurdles to qualify for Medicaid assistance if you need Medicaid to help pay your parents' long-term care expenses. First hurdle, they must need a nursing home level of care. Usually what happens here, a medical professional must determine that you need 24/7 skilled care in a nursing home. This level of care is crucial to being eligible to receive nursing home Medicaid. The Medicaid program won't pay for nursing home care if an applicant does not require a level of care that is consistent to that which is provided in nursing skilled facilities. Here's some general things they look at to determine if your parent needs this level of care. Again, what we're talking about, if your mom or dad needs to go to the nursing home, will Medicaid pay? And before they'll pay, they've got to determine that, they actually need this type of care. So one thing they look at is their physical or their functional ability. Another thing is their health issues. Another thing is cognitive impairment. Another thing is behavioral problems. You may Google Form 703, DHS Form 703 in Arkansas, and you can actually see a form that is used by the Arkansas Department of Human Services that they fill out to determine if your parent needs a nursing home level of care. And they look at things like ambulation. Can they move around? Can they transfer from the bed to the wheelchair? Can they transfer from the wheelchair to go to the bathroom by themselves? Do they need one person to help? 2 people to help? How's their behavior? Are they acting out? Are they calm? How's their nutrition status? Are they eating as they should? Are they taking their medication? They look at all sorts of things to make this determination. And so that's the first hurdle. Do they need this level of care? And a thorough and complete evaluation must be conducted to ensure that individuals who do not require nursing home services are not admitted. So this is a big thing. Do they need that level of care? Second hurdle, income issues. Has mom been told that she has too much income to qualify for Medicaid to help pay her nursing home level of care? Now, we're not talking about assets. We're not talking about money in her bank account. We're talking about income. Does she have too much monthly income? Arkansas is an income capped state. The number is 2742. You're not eligible for Medicaid to pay long-term care expenses if your monthly income exceeds 2742 a month. Here's an example. What if mom has an $1,800 pension and $1,000 in Social Security benefits? She's not eligible for Medicaid if her monthly income exceeds 2742. For total income, 2,800, income limit 2742. She missed it by $58. She is, quote, too rich to qualify for Medicaid, but she's too poor to pay her monthly nursing home bill. And we just got a couple of months ago an update. Right now, the cost of care in the state is a little over $8,300 a month. It went up about $1,200 a month since last year. A way to remedy this problem is with something called a Miller Trust or an irrevocable income trust. You can think of it as a box, and we've actually got a picture of a Rubik's Cube here for good reason. It seems so simple. A Miller Trust seems so simple. All of your income goes in the top every month, and it pours out the bottom every month to pay long-term care expenses, and when you qualify for Medicaid picks up the balance. It would seem so simple, but it seems like there's so many ways to mess this up. The Miller Trust process consists of legal trust documents and bank accounts. So just like a bank account that all of her monthly income goes into, again, it goes out, DHS says where these expenses go to that come out of the account every month, but primarily they're used to pay monthly nursing home expenses, Medicare supplemental insurance, and something called a personal needs allowance. A resident of a nursing home can keep like $40 a month. This is a personal needs allowance. That's their MAD money that it's used to get their hair done and such as that. That's the payments from a Miller Trust every month. So far we've talked about physically needy. Do they need this level of care? Second, must be income eligible. Third, you must be asset eligible. So if you got a parent in a nursing home or going to a nursing home, they may have been told that they're, quote, over-resourced. And we're going to look here at two categories of assets: exempt assets and countable assets. So exempt assets, these are the things you can have and it doesn't count against you, at least right now. Your home is an exempt asset. It's exempt, but, and we'll talk more about this later, exempt but meaning that you can exempt it for now, just kind of park it over to the side for now, but when you die, DHS, Department of Human Services, that regulates Medicaid program, can put a lien on the property and, can say, well, while your mom or dad was in a nursing home, we paid out however much to them in Medicaid benefits, and we want our money back. So when the house sells, they can recoup against this property. So the home's exempt now, and if you want to protect it, actions need to be taken to protect the home. One vehicle's exempt. If you got two, one's exempt. We usually exempt the more expensive one, and the other one counts against them. Irrevocable prepaid burial contract is an exempt asset. So if you paid for that in advance, that's a good thing. That's exempt. And personal assets at home, pots and pans and tables and chairs and couches and pictures and stuff like that, that's all exempt assets. So they can just park all of those to the side and it doesn't count against them. Well, what is a countable asset or countable resource? Well, anything else. And this is supposed to be a picture of a check register representing a checking account. But the regulations literally says anything that's not exempt is countable. So that's pretty simple. So any checking account, savings account, brokerage account, IRAs, 401k, second home, second vehicle, non-home property, farm that you don't live on, boats, four-wheelers, so forth, so forth. I mean, it's just anything else that you have that's not exempt is countable. So you add all of this stuff up, and this is what they look at when they say you've got too many resources to qualify for Medicaid. They look at countable assets. Well, so what do you do if you've got time to plan? One thing that you can do to protect assets is something called an irrevocable trust. And this is a picture, this box is, treasure chest down here. If you have something like a legacy asset, like a farm or a second house or commercial building or something, I wouldn't recommend you put your butter and egg money in an irrevocable trust, because it's not available to creditors like a nursing home, but it's also not available to you. So after 5 years, well, it's off the table for consideration if it's drafted properly to protect those assets from having to be spent down. It takes it from countable asset category to it's not being considered because you transferred it more than 5 years before you went to the nursing home. But that's if you plan in advance, and most people don't. Most people, it's what I call last minute asset protection. Most people don't plan for asset protection in case of nursing home admission, because honestly, I think, all of us think that, well, this won't happen to me. I won't have to go to a nursing home. I'm not going to think about this. So they don't plan. They don't think it'll ever be a factor in their life, so they just keep it in their name. So, but just know that even at the last minute, things can be done to help protect some of the assets from having to be spent down. You can make decisions on how to pay for care.